Hey everybody, it's Friday. I'm still Kevin Murcko. This is still CoinMetro, and well, this is something we like to call, I guess we didn't coin the phrase, but we do like to call it an AMA. That's what I do here. I answer questions. You ask me something, I answer it. Ask me anything, I'll answer it. Hopefully, I've been stumped once or twice, maybe 3 times in about 3 years. So maybe today I'll be stumped the 4th time. We'll see. Anyway, nice to see you guys here. Q2. How's Q2 feeling for everybody? Not bad, not bad. All right, let's jump right into it. Boom, Deep Philippe. All right, how's the new PR guy settling in? What's his plans for next week? Making minutes again like last week, which I will post on Telegram group afterwards. So, PR guy. Got an email from the PR guy on the 31st saying that he had accepted another gig. Amazing. Well, anyway, onwards and upwards, we're going to find somebody else. You know, things happen. It kind of caught me off guard, to be honest, because it's not like we knew there was something else in the running or something else may, you know, I guess he just got a better offer or an offer he liked better. I'm not sure it was actually better. But anyway, good luck to him, and I'm sure he'll do great things. And we're going to find someone else that's going to propel CoinMetro forward. So yeah, nothing to say on the PR guy, unfortunately, or fortunately. Maybe you know what? What I found in my life is that when stuff happens that you don't like, and you're like, man, you know, what happened? It always ends up being better in the end, anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. I don't think you should be either. Does your wife love the beard? Absolutely not. She hates it. She hates all of you for liking it. So if you like my beard, my wife doesn't like you, just so you know. Probably it doesn't change your life in any meaningful way. But she deals with it, though. I mean, she doesn't tell me every day she doesn't like it, just on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. My life is slightly more complicated because of the beard. So if we could just get to that €1, you know, today, it would be great, guys. If I could shave this afternoon, I would really tip my hat, which I don't wear, to all of you. So scale of 1 to 10, how close are you to sleep in the office with current wife opinion of beard? Pretty close, pretty close. 1 to 10, probably a 9.6, maybe a 9.7. I don't know. We'll find out later today. It might even go a bit higher, but I'm trying. See, I got a haircut last week, hair, singular. And you know, it's the haircut guy, like he trimmed it. He didn't shave the beard. He just, you know, the ones that like stick out stupid, he kind of cleaned it up. And it was nice. It was nice. Got a few compliments, mostly from dudes, which was weird. But, you know, so, you know, it was okay. But now it's getting it looks like a bit scraggly again. And plus the neck, I have to clean up the neck. You know what happens is I wake up in the morning and I literally roll out of bed. I make a funny noise or 2. I think in my 30s, I made like no funny noises. By 35, I had like 1 or 2. Now going into mid 40s, I probably make 3 or 4 really funny noises when I wake up in the morning. None of them on purpose. Anyway, so I made a few funny noises. I roll over, I pick up my phone with like my eyes kind of, you know, 90% of the way shut. Look at Telegram, Slack, and email inbox. Make sure that the world didn't end while I was sleeping. I stumble into the bathroom, usually stubbing my toe or hitting my face on something because that's just what I do. And then I kind of fall down the stairs and roll into this small door into the office. Usually somewhere in the middle there, I do put pants on and a shirt and sometimes socks because, you know, I mean, I'm not going to come to work, you know, naked. I probably would, though, if I was by myself, though I was by myself this morning and I didn't. So maybe I wouldn't. All right. So how's the PRQ margin setup coming on? So we do have new liquidity on PRQ. If nobody's noticed, you should have. One of our liquidity providers now supporting PRQ, much more depth in the book. That seems to me like we're one step closer to getting that bad boy on margin. So our CTO's told me he was going to take a few days off and then didn't take any days off. But I'm not going to ask him to do it this weekend if he's listening. I will probably see if we can get it on the schedule next weekend. We have a few other listings I think that are going to pop on next weekend as well. So it just makes sense. Not that this is a listing. This is more about throwing something on margin, obviously. So, but I think next week looks good. Next weekend looks good. Good. Do you have a status update on the German Challenger Bank and any other interesting parties? I haven't been to any interesting parties, unfortunately. Developments in this field. So Nothing from the German challenger bank, though have 2 or 3 now, 3 actually, discussions with different companies for the same product or service. So, and that was without me telling people we actually offer it. So I think once we actually tell people we're offering it with this B2B page that'll be coming out this quarter, we're going to be pretty inundated, and we're going to need somebody to manage that. So we actually are looking for someone who can manage B2B sales. Have a few people in mind already. What is it like living in Estonia? Squeezable. Any language barriers? Do most people speak English, or do you speak Estonian? I do not speak Estonian. I'm kind of embarrassed about that. When I was a younger man, I used to make fun of people that would live in countries for a long time and not speak the language. And I've been here now like 3 years, going on 3.5, and I don't necessarily speak almost any of the language, which kind of makes me, my younger self, if he had come back in time to meet my now older self, would probably laugh at me and make fun of me. And that's fine, I guess. Probably for being bald though first. That kind of came out of nowhere, but would make fun of me for this too. I like living in Estonia, to be honest. I mean, the weather is not awesome, but outside of the weather, I like it. It's like I've said this a million times. It's like a big city wrapped inside a small town. Everybody's pretty straightforward. I like people that are straightforward, man. You know, I'd rather have somebody like look at me like they don't like me because they just don't know me and don't care, than smile at me and say good morning, and then as soon as I walk by them, go, that guy looks ridiculous, or whatever. And I've lived in countries that's kind of like that, the old two-face. So yeah, I like Estonia. I think I'm going to spend at least a few more years here, so I'm happy. There aren't really any language barriers. I mean, unless you talk to I would say 40% of the population, especially the older population, speak Russian, and they don't generally speak much English. But in terms of the younger population, when I say younger, the term younger changes as you get older. When you're 10, younger means like 4 to 5 years old, maybe 7. When you're in your 20s, younger people, young people, well now, mid 40s or whatever, I would, younger people, meaning like, I would say 50 or below, probably 45 or below, generally are going to speak a bit of English if they went through the education system. Definitely 30 or below, almost certainty that they're going to speak some English. So not much of a language barrier. And I will one day try to learn Estonian, but that day hasn't come yet, unfortunately. You talked about Wyckoff cycles last week, but are they really applicable in a low liquidity retail-driven market like crypto? Well, I would tell you that almost all technical analysis is absolutely horseshit in almost any market. But the reason technical analysis works is because people follow it. And when more and more people follow something, it becomes a kind of preconceived notion. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And that's why, and it's based on human nature. So the more people that trade crypto, the more those things are going to become relevant. And there definitely are what I would say that what appear to be anyway, Wyckoff cycles on charts. Wyckoff really is just about accumulation and distribution. And in any market, whether there's one guy trading against one other guy, or a girl trading, or I don't know, any one of 500 genders trading against any one of 500 genders, there is going to be accumulation and distribution because that's how markets work. So I think Wyckoff cycles, as they're defined, do exist in crypto. They exist in any other market, but it's not that their existence means that you should be trading a chart based on, you start to see a breakout and then a range. Don't assume that that's a Wyckoff cycle. But when you look at, when you scale out from charts, they absolutely do exist because they're based on human nature. They're based on the fact that people will be kind of, they can't make a decision, right? Or the vast majority can't make a decision. They make a decision. Now they can't make a decision again. They made a decision. So you end up getting a Wyckoff cycle. Any news on Backify or Flux Dev? Any clue on when we will start seeing movement on Backify equity-like tokens? They're not equity-like tokens. They are equity tokens. They fully represent equity owned by, shareholders in Backify. So, I got a question delivered to me. So let me answer this one first, and then I'll come to this one that just got handed to me. I feel like I'm on a 1970s game show. Okay, so any clues, BackFi Lex? Okay, so BackFi equity tokens, our secondary market will go live in April. And at that time, you will be able to trade those equity tokens. The subscription period of BackFi was supposed to end, I think, at 60 or 90 days. So officially, when it's manually ended, because it's not yet, you will receive those tokens into your Ignium balances, and you'll be able to use Ignium secondary market if you want to. And the secondary market should go live on CoinMetro in April. As far as Flux, I believe next weekend we have scheduled those tokens to go live. Okay, so this is the question I just got. I guess somebody asked it on Intercom. So this is from Yalcin, maybe, or Yalcin. Probably butchered it. Last initial A. Hi, Kevin. Please give us an example of a use case where all participants of the partnership, CoinMetro, Zelcore, KDA, are involved. Sure. So KDA has this bonding and relay system, obviously that we're looking to implement. We're implementing, I should say. I don't know if Dev has started actually, because I've seen it. I've seen the testnet and a few tests done. I think even production was connected. Just a few tweaks need to be done. So everybody, I think, knows about that, or if you haven't, now you know about it, right? So we're looking to support bonding and relay with KDA, and that's essentially something like staking without getting too deep into the technicals. Zelcore is going to assist in that we're gonna actually be interfacing with them for specific pieces of that cycle, which has to do with headers, and we're going to be basically using them to make the implementation easier on our side, but also we're going to give them that's Zelcore services from our side that they can offer to clients that sit within the Zell network. So the one product being, let's say, this KDA bonding is going to be facilitated across 3 different platforms, and every platform will benefit. One, with less dev time, not having to rebuild a system that someone else has already built. Clients inside Zell network will be able to participate in bonding, pooled bonding through CoinMetro, or they can participate just in bonding through Zell network if they have the 50,000 KDA needed. Of course, KDA is the one who built the system, and we're enabling as CoinMetro the pooling so that people that don't have 50,000 KDA can still participate. So that's one example. Obviously, there are more and more to come, but that is one example. So thanks for the question, by the way. That was great. And thank you, Rahina, for passing it on. I just missed my place. So let's see, where was I? Here we go. Shout out to CM support staff for Hina, who was very quick to deliver a report about DNA mix-up. Thank you, Henrik. She was just here giving me the questions, so if I had read this before, I would have told her personally, but I'll make sure she finds out when I get off if she's not listening. Hi, Kevin. I ordered a T-shirt and arrived in 7 days from ordering to delivery in the UK, by the way. Love it. Awesome. So Printful and Shopify get a tip because we have nothing to do with that, but I'm glad that it worked out. And I'm glad you have a T-shirt. If you bought a T-shirt, go on Twitter or Telegram, take a picture of yourself and that T-shirt. You can, if you don't want us to see your beautiful faces, you can take it from here down, or I don't know, however you want to take the picture. But post it to us, man. Let's get those things going around social media. I think it'd be great. Pretty memeable too, I think. Any upcoming STOs? Yeah. Yep. There are some in the mix. I'm going to be talking with this media company that's been a bit delayed, partially due to me, because I have some things that I need to get done so that we can launch that campaign. Hopefully, we're going to talk later this afternoon, and in April, we're going to get that baby off the ground. And also, we've been approached by a couple real estate projects, a couple other projects that are either connected to Tallinn, Estonia, or people in those projects that are connected to Tallinn, from a wide variety of different businesses, from biotech to retail to e-commerce. So yeah, definitely more to come. You'll see more to come, that's for sure. The market maker for PRQ is a great addition. Any other PRQ related updates? So far, IQ protocol, we were reached out by Anatoly, I think a week and a half ago, about finally trying to set that thing up. Our CTO, though, has been a little bit burdened with way too much to do. But I think next week at some point, he'll probably go back and start to look at how we can get IQ protocol integrated. Obviously, they're on testnet now, so our goal would be before they get on mainnet that we actually get that bad boy integrated. Though I don't know a time frame on that right now, but I'll have to talk to Anatoly at Parsec to get more information, a bit more information. Hey Kev, latest all-time high volume of 20 million was great, but does it concern you that most of it is from one Tram manager? Concern me, no, not at all. Growth is growth. Now, when you look at the vast majority, now, without even looking at numbers from any other exchange or broker, I can tell you from having owned an FX broker for a long time and having traded and seen order books, et cetera, for even longer than that, that generally speaking, 5% of your client base is going to do 90% of your, 80 to 90% of your business. That's almost in any business, to be honest. And that's the case here as well. So it doesn't surprise me. And what it means is that what we always thought it meant for Tram and copy trading was that the reason why we released that thing, at least from the business side, is because it is predictable volume. Because we know how the manager trades, more money for the manager gives us predictable revenue stream, rather than for individual traders who we really don't know what they're going to do when they initially deposit those funds. So I would say our proof of concept idea for copy trading clearly works. And that as we build out the copy trading platform, it will be one of the biggest sources of volume for the company, and that's fine. And what it does is it means that guys who know how to trade, who are always going to trade more volume than people who don't, at least over time. People that don't know how to trade do trade high volume. Sometimes they over leverage themselves, but they lose, and they end up losing their money, and then volume is gone. But for sustainable volume, you want people who know what they're doing. And if you have a system by which you can give them more money to trade, you're only going to increase the amount of volume they can do. So no, doesn't concern me a bit, actually. I think it makes a lot of sense. What's the latest on marketing? Still behind? Yeah, well, PR guy obviously not joining, as I said in the beginning. So still fleshing out the marketing team. That doesn't mean we're not doing anything. We're still waiting on Facebook's final nod. There was supposed to be a call this week. I don't know if that call happened. Today, obviously being a holiday, it's not going to happen today. So we're waiting for that to happen. We have picked up a bit Google ads. We've done some Twitter polls that have done well. We're going to start branching out into more advertising. And we're definitely still looking to build out our team with product marketing, with PR, and some other positions as well. So yeah, stay tuned. We're still moving in the right direction. Hey, Roman. Nice to see you. Hey, Kevin, how did you make the volume go up so quickly? I just called Harold and said, bro, and then I hung up, and that was it. No. It's inevitable, guys. CoinMetro's volume is going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And just like when we had the first 50K, 10K even, everybody was like, 10K, thank God. 50K, wow, 100K, wow, we're in the 6 digits, man. Then it hit 1 million, and everybody was like, oh my God, it's 1 million, and 20. Well, 20 million is going to look as small as 10K, in the next months and absolutely years ahead. It's going to look like, it's going to be a funny milestone, one of the many funny milestones, roadblocks, or whatever in CoinMetro's history. So yeah, all good. Also need that biz dev news. I did do a bit of a biz dev news update. I may come back to another one. I think I have a few other things to talk about, but I'm going to keep moving on because we have a lot of questions flowing in. Will you be able to use XCM on Tram when XCM staking will begin? You will be able to use XCM on Tram copy trading in the near future. It's not going to happen at the same time as staking, but it is being worked on, and it's on the books for Q2. Hi, Kevin. Update on secondary market for securities. Q2. Scheduled for April, scheduled for this month to come and go live. I thought Datamine would be available to buy on CM. What's the nature of the partnership if not a token listing? Datamine. No, well, the Flux token is actually part of Zell Network. So you may be talking, maybe I'm wrong, but I think you're talking about something else. But the Zell Network listings will happen next weekend. And there's a lot more involved in that partnership. I just spoke about some of it with this previous question that was handed to me. Wagworn Kev, what are you most excited about? Blood. I'm kind of stumped. Okay. What am I most excited about? It's a good question. I think I'm always just excited about tomorrow and the next day and today. I try to live my life in that everything I do, especially in the business, my life really is the business, to be honest. Obviously, as I get older, I try to separate more family time and spend more time with the family and try to get some quality time in, because it is important and it's very difficult to do. And when you're 20 or 30 trying to hit a goal, sometimes you miss out on things. So trying to get that done. But what makes me exciting, at least from the business side, I think it's just every day is different. Every day is different. Every day is a challenge. Every day we grow a little bit more, and every day exciting things happen. Challenges are exciting. I always like challenges. Challenges at the time can be frustrating, right? But I always like a good challenge. So I think I'm just generally excited about the business, its growth, and where it's going to be in the coming months and years ahead. Any news on XCM staking and is quant staking coming back? So XCM staking in development, I think, as we speak. April will happen. In April, you will see staking for XCM. Quant will come back once we have sustainable staking. That means lending and borrowing. We're shooting. That's probably going to happen Q3. Without a PR guy, will you push the already prepped press releases now? Also, is the PR guy the same as the marketing guy you were thrilled about in earlier AMA? Could be, probably. If I talked about somebody recently joining the team, yeah, that was probably him. Some of them, well, most of them weren't prepped. We know what we want to write about. We haven't written them, but we will still be doing PR to answer that question. Hey, the fees converted seems to be somewhat stagnant, I guess, if not lower than the previous period. How do you feel about the financial situation of CoinMetro? What are your projections? Fees converted. I guess you're talking about exchange fees. So what you see on that widget is exchange fees and exchange fees only. It doesn't account for all other fees. So for the month of March, while we still let's say weren't yet at profitability, so we still don't have positive cash flow, with our burn rate of roughly 170K, plus about 30 to 40K worth of expenses last month that weren't normal expenses. So they're not month-to-month expenses, they were one-off expenses, pen testing, a few other things. I think we burned, our negative cash flow was something like 40 to 50K. If you remove those one-time expenses, we were within a sliver of being cash net positive. And that's amazing, because 3 months ago, 6 months ago, we weren't close to being cash positive, and now we are ultra close. So our projections that we had for Q1, we've smashed them, literally obliterated them. Q2, I'm expecting the same. So we're on, comparatively speaking to those projections that were in our bond info memo, light years ahead already. Literally light years. I mean, we completely smashed them. And I believe we're going to continue on that path. So projections for this year, I think we're gonna go into the projections for 22, potentially even 23 by the end of the year. So absolutely on a great clip there. What about the flux? What about the flux of new users? It feels like there are not so many new joiners as expected. We can see that in the fees converted too. The market is bullish, but still the fees convertible. Again, those are exchange fees only, don't account for margin. Or Tram for that matter. So there are less new joiners than there were at the height of new joiners, because we haven't been running advertising for 4 weeks now because we're waiting to get certifications. But even without advertising, we are growing our organic user base faster than we ever have in the past. So absolutely, things look spectacular in terms of where we're headed. When we turn back on ads, you will start to see many new joiners. Just simply, we don't have ads running right now. Well, we do have ads running, but we don't have substantial ads running because we're waiting on certification. Why do you think XCM price? Why do you think XCM's price has been so stagnant? Oh, stagnant has now become the word, has it? Over the last while, it feels like CM has forgotten about it. I think that's crazy talk, to be fair. On January 1st, it was 4 cents, guys. It took a bullish spike up to near 60 cents, or right around 60 euro cents, and has now been trading at 40 cents. That means that, many people, when the spike was happening, thought, it's going to be back at 12 almost immediately. No, it settled at 40. It settled at roughly 45% off the high and has been maintaining that price. That means that there's substantially more buying demand on the buy side of the book than there is on the sell side. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And it's far different than what you normally see in any type of crypto bull run. And it's wave one, right? Everybody knows how waves work because of Corona. If you didn't know what waves looked like before, that was wave one. We have many more waves to go. We definitely haven't forgotten about it. That's for sure. I don't think anybody else has forgotten about it either, because they're still buying it. The price has been supported at 40 cents for about 35 days, 40 days, which again, maybe in crypto times is, a long time. And I know when you see other assets and they're mooning and they're moving, everybody forgets that our exchange token was the best performing exchange token in Q1 2021. Destroyed everybody percentage-wise, all of them, from Binance to KuCoin to all, destroyed. And we're going to continue on that pace. But, it needs a breather, man. Assets need a breather. Assets need to accumulate. There's lots of accumulation going on right now. Talking about Wyckoff cycles, we are in a Wyckoff cycle of accumulation. How many of yourself have you met in crypto? Focus on winning together with customers in there for the long run and don't give up, if any, whom? From the exchange side, none. The one, for instance, Jesse Powell from Kraken, I like Jesse. And we've never actually met in person, but I do think that if we did, we'd probably hit it off. But from the exchange side, I can't really name anybody that I've had a conversation with that really sounded like we were on the same page. In crypto in general, though, I've met a lot of people that have this same idea that everybody should have access to things, that things should be transparent, that everybody should win together, and it shouldn't be, the 1% gaining while the 99% lose. I've met lots of people that share that sentiment. Exchanges, brokers, broker-dealers in finance have traditionally been absolute pigs. That's why my FX broker was named FX Pig. Just absolute pieces of shit. That's, and I hate to say it, but that is what a lot of the financial industry is, but hopefully won't be in the future. And that's one of the reasons why I left FX, because it's full of a lot of scumbags. And generally, unfortunately, the people that move towards the business are either guys that tried to trade and couldn't, lost money, or were decent traders and said, well, these guys, the broker's making more money than I am, and I'm sitting here trading all day, so I'm gonna open a broker. And they did it specifically to try and game the system and make money and take money from clients, just like they were when they figured out that the broker was taking money from them. And so that bleeds over into every market. And I would say without a doubt that most exchanges in crypto are owned by scumbags. That's it. There's no simple way. There's no nice way to say that. That's what it is. But crypto in general, as far as an ecosystem, an industry, and a community, there are lots of fantastic people, I think, that want to change the system for good. And I've met lots of them. I would say, the boys at Parsec, I think, definitely have their eye on the prize. Cadena have their eye on the prize, doing right things, trying to better the industry as a whole. I think almost everything we list, VXV, all these companies have a vision that might not be the same as mine, but generally are in similar, they're trying to do similar things. And that's giving access to products, to services, et cetera, that the general public never had access to, trying to give them a winning edge over the big boys. And I think that's right. That's going in the right direction. Hey, Kev. Hey, Brian. Is additional security feature every withdrawal has been suspended automatically 24 hours and released after that time? Is it still on track? I don't remember seeing that inside of the roadmap for Q2, but it may still be there. I saw you ask it in Telegram. I'll actually have a chat with Oliver about this a bit later today. I know the new settings page is in Q2, and definitely this can be worked in if it hasn't been already. Frava Brew. Hi, love the show. Appreciate that. Glad to have you here. How do I withdraw funds from Tram without incurring a huge outstanding open PLL loss? Hard to time a withdrawal. Well, there is no option, actually. You have to, I guess it's from the understanding of how copy trading or how Tram actually works. And that's once you connect to that Tram, any trade taken after you've connected is now connected to your account. Now, if the loss that's currently floating is a loss that was there before you arrived, then it's not your loss. any loss connected to you, when you exit the Tram, you are going to close open positions. So if you exit with 1/10 of your balance, you're going to close 1/10 of your open positions. If you exit with half, you're going to close half. If you exit with all, you're going to close all. And there's no other way to really do that. It wouldn't be fair to anyone else in there if you were able to leave and your loss stayed floating on a smaller balance, which could induce a negative balance, by the way, over time, or your loss was simply passed to somebody else. That wouldn't be fair. So it's a very probably fair system. Though in the next iteration of Tram and copy trading, we are going over and above to make sure that this is very, very clear. And I know that, the system initially was a beta system. We've definitely made some changes here and there and tried to add a bit more transparency to that system so people can understand more what they're actually looking at. But we need to do more, and that's going to happen in an update that hopefully will come in Q2, probably towards the end of Q2, middle to ends, because it is quite a substantial update, but it's coming. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for everything. Any chance of some online courses for newbies on how to make use of limit orders, et cetera, so we can best utilize CoinMetro? Hi, Samantha. So I'd be willing to run a little course. If you guys on Telegram or somewhere get a group of people that would be willing to listen, I can run a quick trading course, on a weekend or even on a day throughout the week, or even after an AMA on a Friday. So that might be one place. I don't necessarily know of, in FX used to be a website called Baby Pips, which is where every broker would send their clients to kind of learn the basics. I don't really know of anything like that. I know there's a lot of kind of educational platforms, and I haven't really gone through all of them. But generally speaking, I think they focus a lot maybe on what is crypto and how can I benefit from crypto, what is DeFi versus how do I actually interact with these systems. But we can definitely do a class. You guys let me know you want to do it and we'll put it together. Any chance we can use API keys from CoinMetro to put into our crypto tax application? Any chance we can use API keys from CoinMetro to put into our crypto tax application? I think what you're asking is if you can take maybe a CSV and throw it into, we did create our CSV recently to be used with one specific tax application. You can ask in Telegram what that one is, because to be honest, I don't remember off the top of my head, but ask in our Telegram group, somebody will let you know. API connection to tax platforms, I haven't really seen anyone request that yet. Not sure what really exists, but if you've done the research already and you want to send us some links, you can go ahead and do that, and we'll take a look. When are the Tram updates? What are the Tram updates? When are the Tram updates, and what would they be? Hey, Henrik. So first of all, complete platform redesign to look more like our current design, adding more statistics, adding more tooltips, adding more explanations of what's happening, when it's happening, etc. Also giving people the ability to set an amount of profit. So when trades are closed, if they're in profit, you can select that a certain percentage is taken out of active trading and put into your Tram wallet. Something like, the famous 80-20 rule, so you withdraw 20, reinvest 80%, but you'll be able to select that as you see fit. This way, Trams that run with constant open exposure, but also are closing trades in profit, you're able to pull that profit out without having to withdraw it, and thus potentially have to close open trades as well that may be in drawdown or have open negative exposure. Those are some of the main points. And there are a few other small things that we're going to be doing, some auxiliary things, but those are the main ones. When we bond KDA, there's a risk to get slashed when the header does a bad job. How is CM preventing to get slashed when we bond through CM? Is this a partnership reducing the risk? Correct. Zell Network. So Zell Network's going to handle the header part of that. So reducing the risk to get slashed or to lose half your KDA when you bond. And we're in talks with them right now, actually, between the three entities to see how we do that. But that's exactly part of the partnership. Absolutely. Yep. Thank you, Brian. Policing those thumbs up. All those thumbs up definitely help us. So we really do appreciate it, guys. So I absolutely appreciate it. Will CM allow sub 50K Cadena holders to get 30% rate? Yes. The pooling will allow you basically with almost any amount of KDA to pool into bonding. 30%, obviously we're going to take a very small cut because we have to make money somewhere. We are a business. So we will take a percentage of that 30, but a small percentage, and you'll be able to bond with essentially any amount. Do you know anything about the Viat project by Viat? CoinMetro is very interested in AI, so I'm curious. Don't actually, I do not. You can DM me about it and I'll take a look. Kevin, what are you most proud of when it comes to CoinMetro? From a high level, we're still here. You know, lots of naysayers, 2017, 18, 19, 20. Lots of people saying that, you know, we should have done this, we should have done that. Why didn't you guys do this? Why didn't you do that? If I was there, I would have done this. You know, lots of armchair quarterbacks, you know, sitting back in their comfy position, trying to say what we should have did. And we're still here and we're flourishing. And I think that's got to make you proud. I think even as a client, even as a supporter, even as a bag holder that's been here since 2017, man, or 2018, that's got to make you proud. I think the best thing you can do to combat naysayers or people that try to dish you or put you down is just be successful. You know, stick with it, do the right thing, get on the other side of those train tracks, man, and don't even say anything because they're gonna know. They'll see the success, they'll feel it. You know, that's it. That's the best thing to do in life when people try to put you down or try to slow you down. So from a high level, I would say we're still here and we're flourishing. You know, and in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, we're still going to be here. And in 20 years, we're still going to be here. Because we do the right things, because we do them the right way, because we're diligent. That's it. Doesn't mean there won't be roadblocks, doesn't mean there won't be hard times, doesn't mean there won't be frustrations. But we've already dealt with a lot of those, and I think we've dealt with them the best we could given the resources we had, and we will continue to do that. And as we have more resources, it's only going to get easier. Is XCM staking, locking up for tiers, and putting it on Tram going to work together? So initially, XCM staking and tiers, absolutely. Same system. It'll be all in the same system. Putting it on Tram and not in V1, margin collateral definitely is going to be there. Tram will come in a later version, but yes, at some point, all three of those will basically work together, including collateral on margin. So actually 4 different services working together. Is XCM going to follow KDA yield by tiers? Not sure exactly. You mean the yield from bonding, will it scale up with tiers? It's a good question. We haven't actually discussed that with Cadena and Zelcore to see how we do. We may. That may be part of the equation. Oliver mentioned a month ago about CM buying XCM for the market. Can you say something? I'm not going to say anything about that. I would say just pay attention next week. Cajun talked about VXV development with CM. What do you can say? Well, we haven't yet really dug into that, but definitely they're ready and willing, and so are we. We just need to find the time. Thinking about data sets and our ETCF. It's been so long now. ETCF initiative with their data sets is probably where we're headed. What is one thing that you were most excited about in Q2, and what is the biggest plans in 2 hours of 2021? Second half, I guess. 2 hours, Jesus. It is Friday, guys, come on. What's the thing I'm most excited about with Q2? I think getting staking live and seeing what effect that has on the book definitely has me excited. Biggest plans for the second half, challenger banking products and the app. Those are going to be big, I think, in Q2. Please list XDC. Send me a DM on that one. I don't even know if I know what XDC is, at least off the top of my head. Props to the people at CoinMetro who find new projects to list, as they always seem to do well. Wish I had bought Parsec when I first seen it on CoinMetro. KDA also doing well, and I missed that too. Yeah, well, look, that doesn't mean everything we list is going to do well. We've had a good run so far. It's inevitable that some things aren't going to do that well. So always do your own research. And you know what? If you missed it, it's because you had a reservation. And if you have a reservation, that's a good thing. That means that you're actually doing your own research, and your gut feeling or whatever it is on your side stopped you from moving forward. And that's great. That's great risk protection. It means you might miss out on some winners, but it also means you might miss out on some losers. So keep doing that and just refine the way you look at things. And eventually those two things will meet, and you'll start finding things that you feel comfortable entering, you feel comfortable buying, and they're going to do well. You have to trust your instincts. That's the point. Can you ski? I went skiing twice in my life and snowboarding once. And this was only in like upstate, like Northeast United States, Vermont, New Hampshire. I did okay. I didn't fall over. I didn't go down like crazy ski slopes where I didn't go down the bunny slope either, because I felt like, that was too small for me. But I went down, like a medium-sized, I don't know, maybe it was small-sized. I don't know. It probably was small. Down slope, and I didn't fall over, and I was able to take the corners and stuff. Wasn't going all that fast either. I was okay, but I couldn't stop. This is on a snowboard, and I smashed into the snow way more times than I care to count. On skis, I could stop, but not very good. And I had this thing, where my legs were going way too wide, and I'd almost fall, and then I was going real slow, and then I almost rammed into a tree. But yeah, so I guess long story short, no, not really. Aside from what we've already heard about Backify's superior customer service, multiple coins, is there anything else that makes you think it will destroy the established competition? I think those things alone are enough. But I think focusing on niches that the others don't focus on. So, for instance, many of these like Rakuten and Lolly, they don't focus on what you'd call like the upper echelon of brands, right? You don't really see them focusing on sites that sell high-end merchandise. They might have one or two like Farfetch or whatever, but they don't focus on it. And I think there's a need to focus on it, because in times, especially in times of crisis, those brands always do better than traditional retail. Traditional retail loses, high-end brands do well. So that's one thing. But also focusing on other niches, like finding niches that these companies don't support. They all support travel. They all support this. But, do they support very specific niches that people look for that may be, smaller in terms of amount of searches, but no one actually supports them? And I think as a small company, that's something that Backify is going to be doing. And because the big boys aren't doing it, it could be a major way to get in lots of new clients. And that word of mouth is going to spread fast. What do you think about, is that Hathor, I guess? Something that we're looking to list. If it's Hathor, watch out for this fake CoinMetro again. The guy's posting again. These guys are relentless, man. And Facebook just doesn't care. They won't certify us but they'll let these assholes post all the time about blatant nonsense. Hey, Kevin, you skipped my question. Did I? Let me see if I can find your question. I got the /KDA one. Did you have another one? I definitely answered the /KDA question. So let me know if you had another one. If you did, ask it again. Oh, here's another fake person. Millie Morgan, fake. Have you heard of GraphLink? I have, actually. I haven't dug so much into it yet, but I definitely have heard of it. Look, I never thought that Parsec wasn't going to have a competitor. Chainlink was the first to do oracles. It has competitors. Bitcoin was the first to be a, I guess, cryptocurrency. It has competitors. And in both cases, they have competitors that do things that they don't. Maybe you get my point. I don't know. But it's not that I didn't expect them to not have competitors. And they will. And that's just going to force them to up their game, which they will. They have a great team. I think if you don't get competition, it may mean that you're barking up the wrong tree. They're obviously barking up the right tree. And seeing someone focus on that and spend money on trying to dethrone them only means good things in the future for Parsec and the entirety of the industry, to be honest. Any update on XYM and XEM listings? No update, because we kind of fell off with the team. We got focused on a lot of other stuff. We will get back with the team and see what we can do there. You're welcome, Kevin. Kevin, not Kelvin. That's a measurement of heat. Nice project. Oh, Jesus. They're even using a fake. They can't even get the name right in the fake comments. Jesus Christ, man. Spend some time. It's Kevin, bro. And you didn't send me any Bitcoin, and I didn't send you any back, because obviously that's a scam. Given the amount of volume we saw one Tram deliver the other day, it wasn't all Tram, it was probably 16 million from the Tram. Anyway, will BizDev focus be more on Tram? Yes, we will get to that point. We need to redesign Tram before we really want to push it out. That's going to happen in Q2, but absolutely. And that's why we built copy trading Tram in the first place, because we absolutely knew that a majority of volume was going to flow through there. So absolutely. Do you have numbers of people that joined? I don't have the numbers of people. It's the one thing I don't have, because I don't have direct access to those numbers. Marketing does, but today's a holiday, so I don't, unfortunately. Why did you set up shop in Estonia? Well, I was looking for a place that had legislation, not exemptions, no laws whatsoever, that related to crypto exchange. And it was really Japan and Estonia who passed in November 27, 2017, they passed a version of the yet to be fully redacted AMLD5 or Anti-Money Laundering Directive 5 legislation or directive that was going to be passed in the EU. And they created these FIU licenses for crypto exchange and crypto wallet services. And I don't like to have ambiguity when it comes to regulation, especially, gray area is fine. Being in the black is not somewhere I want to be, because it leads to risk. It leads to risk for the company, my clients, and myself included. So I came to Estonia to try and establish the business under a regulatory umbrella. And I think that was a good decision. And now we're expanding, around the world with different licenses for different services. No limit. Well, there is a limit. The limit is based on the limit that Cadena sets for their bonding. So there is a limit, though Cadena has told us that if it goes well, they may extend it as well. But that's only for, I believe, risk fees, I think they call them, which are bonding rewards related to their treasury. You also get a piece of all the transactions that run through, and that obviously won't end. If you compare CM valuation with Bitan, the XCM should be around €4. Absolutely, I hear that. To re-ask my question about XCM staking tiers, is it going to be 257? For XCM staking? I don't have those numbers yet, so I can't really answer that. Though it will move with the tiers. That's absolutely sure. Athor is a great project. I agree. Hex. So is it a Ponzi? I don't have enough information to call it a Ponzi. Is it a scam? Depends on your definition of scam. I would not list it, no. And I wouldn't list it because the whole business we're in here is about bettering, becoming the future of finance. Future of finance means currently, the current future, like the not so distant future, is regulation. I think we need to become highly regulated to become unregulated in the future. Hex is not regulated, and in many parts of the world is a security, absolutely 100%. And because of that, I can't list it. Now, you may think it has its merits. That's great. You may have made money with it. Awesome. Tip my hat to you. But it is absolutely advertised in a way that would make it illegal in many countries around the world. And that's something we simply don't want to put inside our ecosystem. Now, you can make an argument that XRP right now has charges on them for how they advertise XRP. They do. But those charges, I would say, are, first of all, Hex hasn't had charges placed against it, nor has it gone in front of a court. In this case, though, XRP is considered a major, and definitely doesn't have the same price volatility or tokenomics around it that Hex does. Now, if judicial precedent comes down and says that XRP is a security, well, then we're going to have to make a change. But for now, things stay as they are. When API trading really allowed on CM, 1,000 AP calls per day is a joke, and the following 24-hour ban from all trading after those calls are spent is outrageous. We can change that. So for you as a specific user, just get in touch with us and we'll up that. The reason why that's there is simply because we've had people that don't know how to program and basically will have erroneous trade calls for prices that don't even exist, or other types of erroneous calls that just, clutter up the system for no reason. So we can definitely push that higher for you. Another fake, sorry. Yep, there you go. Yep, just ask the customer support team, as Oliver said, and we'll get that done. Best legislation in the youth. I don't know if I'd go that far, Jack, but definitely the first guys to do it, and that means something. Well, we'll escalate it. We'll get it done for you. So simple as that. Anyway, if I don't know if Oliver knows who you are specifically or has your registered email address. If you don't, DM that to Oliver or DM it to myself. We'll jump in, look at exactly what's been happening, and get it fixed for you. Can you shill us quant? I could. So quant wants to make an interoperable network, essentially being able to use Sorry about that. We lost sound for a second. So absolutely great idea, Quant. Absolutely good execution up to this point. The only question that is in my mind is, will central banks decide to use this in production going forward? And will they use it as a closed system between a central bank and commercial banks, or will they actually communicate and transact with global central banks through the system? That's gonna mean to me what the value proposition is, but there is a value proposition in there. It's still probably undervalued, even given a weaker value proposition, depending on how the system is adopted. But it's something that regardless it's gonna happen. I mean, central banks, commercial banks, merchant banks, all these different banks will start to communicate over these type of networks. It's inevitable. They are the internet of value. So the internet of value is going to take over, just like the internet took over, fax and telephone communications. The question is Quant the one? Now, they are one of the first, which again, usually means a lot, sometimes doesn't though. So I think Quant has a spectacular team, and I think regardless if they are the one or they're not the one, it's still an undervalued asset and still gonna do well in the near, short, and long term. Okay, cool. Yeah, so already Maverick sent out to our CTO. I'm pretty sure that's going to get handled pretty fast. I don't know. I'm not an Easter celebrator. The whole bunny and egg thing just kind of throws me for a loop. I think they do. I mean, they definitely paint eggs. That's for sure. I think they do the rabbit. I think. I don't know. They should do unicorns though. Absolutely. It's the land of unicorns, isn't it? So shill us the next week for XCM, how to get some friends on board. Lots of news going to be rolling out early next week about XCM. A few interviews that I did will be coming out as well. I think we're going to get a lot more exposure. We've had a few very, very large communities that are starting to talk about XCM, starting to talk about how they feel that it's a good investment for the future, CoinMetro and its utility token. And there's going to be some news out of CoinMetro Treasury next week, which I think will probably perk up the ears of many. So I'll leave you with that. I won't go any more into that, but hopefully you can connect the dots if you've been listening the whole hour. We are absolutely looking to hire more devs, 100%. No, not at all. Backify in no way affected XCM price. No. You mentioned that you might mention some biz dev later. I already mentioned something. I think I mentioned a few things actually. And off the top of my head now, just about an hour in, brain fried. So I have a meeting in 30 minutes, guys, and I have to prepare some slides. So I'm going to do that now. I very much appreciate everyone that's here. Thank you very much for coming, asking your questions. Thanks for being here every week. Thanks for the thumbs up and the hearts and the confetti and the whatever button you guys are clicking on, whatever social network you may be watching on. Very much appreciated. Stay tuned, guys. Next week's, I think, going to be some fireworks next week. So pay attention early next week. Late next week, too, is going to be awesome, but early next week, pay attention. And that's it. I'm going to leave you there. Spend time with friends and family as always. If you can't do it in person, do it virtually. And when you're on that phone call because grandma still doesn't know how to work Zoom, make sure you scream into the receiver as loud as you can that the best place for a retirement pension is XCM. And I jest. It's still a pretty good place though, seriously. But I do jest, but seriously. Have a great weekend. Tag me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko. I'll answer some more questions if I missed them here. Tweet me at Kevin Murcko on Twitter. And join the community if you haven't. What are you doing? I mean, what else can you do in lockdown? Join the XCM community, have some fun. See you guys next week. And I will be in Mexico next week, so you'll see a bit of a different background. And have fun. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you have some sun.